E.N.D here. KROXA, Titan of Death's Hunger. This is the second Titan spoiled for Theros Beyond Death. We thought that this particular Titan will be a cycle of cards, but we have only 2 Titans that have been spoiled, and there will be only 2 Titans in Theros Beyond Death, that is KROXA and Euro. These are very interesting cards, and today I'm going to show you how to play KROXA Titan of Death's Hunger. KROXA Titan of Death's Hunger, it's a 1 black and 1 red, it's a 2-drop. It's a legendary creature, Elder Giant, it's a Titan. It's a 6/6, it's a mythic card. When KROXA enters the battlefield, you need to sacrifice it unless it escapes. This enters the battlefield for 1 red and 1 black, which is quite good for a 6/6. But obviously when it hits the battlefield, you will need to sacrifice it unless you cast it for the escape cost. Whenever KROXA enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card. Then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. Therefore, as this card hits the battlefield or attacks, your opponent will need to discard a card. If you're playing multiplayer, each opponent needs to discard a card, not only one. So everyone will need to discard a card. If they discard a land card, they will lose 3 life. If they didn't discard a land card, they will not lose 2 life, because who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. If you discard an artifact, you discard a creature, if you discard a planeswalker, if you discard an enchantment, then you will not lose 2 life. If you discard a land card, which is normally, if you have quite good amount of lands in your hand, normally it's the first thing you will discard. If you discard a land card, you will lose 3 life. Escape cost, it's 2 black and 2 red, and you need to exile another 5 other cards from your graveyard. So let's put our card on top of our library. It is turn 2. We have 1 swamp in play. Let's draw the card. Let's put a mountain from our hand on the battlefield. As I said, this card can be casted as early as turn 2. Can you imagine how powerful this card is? We're going to cast KROXA Titan of Death's Hunger. We're going to tap 1 swamp, 1 mountain. We cast the card. The card goes on the stack. If it's on the stack, the card can be countered and can be responded. If it resolves, it enters the battlefield. As soon as it enters the battlefield, your opponent needs to discard a card. Each opponent will discard a card. It's not target opponent, it's each opponent. Therefore, any opponent that has a hexproof doesn't work. Each opponent discards a card. They need to discard a card. If they discard a creature, artifact, planeswalker, enchantment, anything other than land, they will not lose 3 life. If they discard a land, they will lose 3 life. It's simple as that. Our KROXA hit the battlefield. Our opponent discarded the cards. They lose the life if they discarded a land card. And KROXA is sacrificed. It's sacrificed because I didn't play it for the escape cost. Now KROXA is in the graveyard, and as it's in the graveyard and I have enough mana to cast it and enough cards to exile from my graveyard, because you need to exile 5 cards in case of KROXA. You need to exile 5 cards. As soon as I have all the casting cost needed to cast KROXA from the graveyard, now I will cast it from the graveyard. If you have any type of spell that will remove KROXA from your graveyard and this exile, let's say Leyland of the Void, or there are quite good number of spells in Theros Beyond Death that will remove cards from your graveyard, then you cannot cast it for the escape cost. But as much as it remains in the graveyard, you can cast it for the escape cost, and that's what we're going to do. We're going to put a mountain and the swamp. It is turn 4. We have enough mana, we have enough cards in the graveyard. Let's tap our 2 black and 2 red, 2 swamp, 2 mountains, and we need to exile 5 cards from the graveyard. So let's exile 1, exile 2, exile 3, exile 4, exile 5. I exiled 5 cards. I have enough mana, and I'm going to cast again KROXA. KROXA goes again on this deck. At this stage can be countered, can be responded. If it's resolved, it hits the battlefield again. As soon as it hits the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. Again, each opponent discards a card. If they discard a land card, they will lose 3 life. If they discard any permanent that's not a land card, they will not lose 3 life. It's my turn again. I'm going to attack. When it attacks, your opponent needs to discard another card. Yes, whenever it attacks or enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card. If it's a land, they will lose 3 life. So each opponent discards a card. Again, if they discard the land, they will lose 3 life. If they didn't discard the lands, they don't lose any life at all. If they don't have any cards in hand, and at this stage, it's something that is quite plausible, if they don't have any cards in hand, they will not discard an on-land card, and therefore, they will lose 3 life. Yes, let's read again the card. They discard the card, then each opponent who didn't discard an on-land card this way, they will lose 3 life. If they don't have any cards in hand, they will not discard a creature, an enchantment, a planeswalker. They will not discard those type of cards, and therefore they will lose 3 life. So you can imagine how powerful this card is. It's a very powerful card in my opinion. It's a very, very strong card. Obviously, if it is destroyed, it will go back again in the graveyard. And whenever you have another 5 cards in your graveyard and enough mana to cast it, you can cast it again for the escape cost. Enters the battlefield, discard the cards. If they don't discard, if they discard a land, they will lose 3 life. If they discard a creature, planeswalker, enchantment, they will lose no life. If they don't have any cards in hand, they will lose 3 life. So, in my opinion, KROXA is a very powerful card. It's a very strong card. It's a 2-drop. And I think it's one of those cards that will see quite an amount in play in Standard, in Pioneer, and in Modern, and especially in Commander and Pro. I hope you liked this video. Hope you liked this tutorial about KROXA. Here's the subscription button. Subscribe for my channel for more interesting videos like this one about Theros Beyond Death cards, future Magic the Gathering cards, and the collectible world.